on Recycle Bin. It's Front Page Tech versus Tailosive Tech, Part 2. For one night only, mortal enemies collide for your entertainment. The man that makes loud noises on a fake tech news show faces off against Apple's very own Ginger Avenger. Prepare your anuses, for anything can happen. There will be blood. There will be turmoil. This is Recycle Bin. What's going on, guys? Welcome to Recycle Bin, episode 11. Yes? 11. Yes?
Oh, God.
Yes? No?
Yeah.
11.
Don't say.
It's 11.
Say
It's
yes.
11.
Say yeah.
This is, what month is this? July, it is July 7th?
July
Yes?
7th. 7/7. Yeah.
These are things that we should do before the show starts, right? But
No.
The
we
month,
don't
yeah,
do
yeah.
that.
Right.
Brian, everybody? Brian, how are you?
Hi. Hello. I'm great.
That's
Enjoying my Bungie day.
Your who day?
You don't worry about it.
Okay.
It's a Halo joke.
And-
Don't worry about it.
And of course, I was trying to hide him for as long as I could, but here you go. Here's Drew from Tailosive Tech, everybody.
Hey everyone, it's Tailosive Tech. I know you
Wow.
hate me, but I'm happy to be here.
I like how happy you
Should
were
would
about
start
it.
every interview. I'm very happy right now.
The
Life is
promo
good.
at the beginning of the show, we're just trying to keep the meme alive. The funny thing is, we actually get along pretty well. We're buds.
Pretty
Agree.
well, yeah.
I think we agree about things more than we disagree about things.
I'd say like 80-90% of the time we agree on things, but people
Yeah,
are insistent that there is a giant disagreement or that when we're together there's a fight, and it's
Yeah.
actually becoming more and more challenging to find the disagreements.
But we
It's
have
getting
to.
harder.
We have to keep the meme alive. We have to give the people what they
here's
how
want.
it goes.
Blood.
You just, at the end of the podcast, just stab each other once, and then bam. You're good. Just a little
We'll be debating on something, and John will be like, "Yes, exactly," and I'll say, "Yes, exactly," but I hate you. Anyway,
Here, I'll be here. I'll be here to say, no, you're fucking wrong. BlackBerry is the best. And there,
Did you say
create it, don't worry.
BlackBerry?
Yeah. I mean, come on.
What a joke.
Apple has
poor
nothing on
BlackBerry.
BlackBerry. We know this. Yeah.
Yeah. There were times where I used to
terms
go
of
into.
fruit tech company.
Yeah, I used to go into Drew's live streams and super chat $10 and just say, "Hey, this is $10 to remind you that I hate you."
And I say thanks. Thank you very much.
Thank you for your
Can you
hate
imagine
money.
if someone did that like on the street, like a pedestrian was just like, "Here's $10 and I hate you." You'd be like, "All right,
Yeah,
great."
they just take a $10 bill and say, "Fuck you. Here's $10."
Fine.
I love
like
that. I'm okay with that.
So the show's going to be a little bit different today. Actually, you know what I just realized? We had a structure for the show. It was for the first 15 minutes, we go over news from this past week that the audience wants us to talk about, and then we do Q&A the last 15 minutes of the show. And
Okay.
then we started just letting the chat sort of dictate and steer the show in whatever direction they want. And still every week I come on and say, this show's going to be a little bit different, but it's the same shit thing that we do every week.
You do say that every episode. Yeah.
Thanks
Yeah,
for
it's
keeping it
literally the
straight.
same
You
thing.
do.
Super chats for the podcast, for the live stream. We are streaming this live. They're going to a charity, which we will pick in the post show. By the way, if you don't tune in the live stream, you're really missing out. We record Recycle Bin every Saturday at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So if you're listening to this on iTunes or wherever, make sure to check out YouTube and watch the show live. By the way, the RSS feed should be fixed. Everything's getting updated on iTunes. It's coming back to Google Podcasts because Google switched their thing because they're Google and they keep one thing alive and kill it and bring another thing to life and expect us to jump on board. Oh, also this week we are going to be on Spotify and iHeartRadio. Recycle Bin's coming to both of those things.
Nice.
So, yeah.
Awesome.
Killing it, Brian. Do we have
We're
anything in the chat to help
Hashtag-
us steer the direction here?
You know, man, I just saw something
Taylor
good.
Swift.
I feel like Taylor Swift. This is a good one, I think.
Okay.
From the Masters Tech. Why are people looking forward to bendable smartphones but hating on motorized cameras / moving parts?
Who said anyone was
Are
looking
those the
forward to
same
bendable?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like those are separate audiences.
There's
The
10
people
people
who
that
don't
are
like
hoping for
motorized
both.
cameras are not. Yeah. There's some people who would like both, and there's some people who think motorized cameras are stupid and think bendable phones are stupid. I don't know anyone who overlaps there.
Yeah, I don't know what that dude's talking. Brian, what do you think?
What do you, People looking forward to bendable phones but hating on the movable parts stuff.
Yeah, like what would you even say your opinion is on either of those things?
I think they're all fucking stupid, personally.
Okay, good.
I agree. Yeah. The bendable thing, the problem is people don't understand if you adopt a new tech like that, knowing how Oppo and Vivo handles new stuff like that, they're immediately going to compromise on 8 other things so they can have one cool thing. And it overall will just be like a $1,000 phone that can't do half the things an iPhone could do. Like it's just, everything is a compromise.
Do you remember back when Samsung first did I think it was like the Note 6 Edge, and I don't know which Note it was.
What, the Edge?
Note 7 Edge? No, the Note 7 blew up.
I love that there's only one Note that doesn't exist, and that's the Note 6, and you picked that one.
I know. I was like, what are you talking about?
What was it, the Note 5 Edge? There was a Note
what are you trying to talk about? What are you saying?
Fuck! There was a Note phone that had one bendy edge on it. One.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I remember that.
It was the first time they were like...
bendy.
It was just the Note Edge. I think it was a number.
It was curved.
Yeah,
it was
Note
just
Edge.
one.
Yeah, thank you, Drew.
Okay.
Yeah, one side of it was
just
curved.
Note Edge.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, now that we got to the part I wanted to be at, they did that to be like, hey, look what we can do. We're Samsung, technology's cool. Look what happened. No one really bought the phone, but it was like a precursor.
I don't think it was in the U.S., right?
I don't know.
No, it was. Yeah.
It was. Because Jordan had one.
Yep.
Yeah, our friend Jordan.
Oh, okay. Never mind.
But it was a precursor to what they were going to be able to do. So they took that ridiculous curve on the one edge of the phone and they made it practical. And now it's in like the Galaxy S8 and the Galaxy S9 and stuff like that, where the edges are curved slightly. Yeah, it's very, very important. So this whole curved thing, foldable phone, I feel like it's another one of those Samsung things where it's like, hey, look what we can do. Technology's cool. We're Samsung. We have all this money and we can do this and it doesn't matter.
But is it like Jeff Goldblum. It's like they didn't stop to think if they should. They just were focused on, can we do this? Not like, is this a good idea?
Quotes. John's going to miss all the movie quotes. He's seen maybe 2 movies in the last 30 years.
Drew has a movie review channel.
That's true.
Awesome.
We just uploaded a commentary track. Shameless plug.
Brian, we need a movie channel. Let's just fucking do everything Drew does and just outdrew him in 10 years.
Outdrew him?
I'm okay with
You almost said something else.
Outdrew him in 10 years.
Page gaming, front page talk.
What I want from Samsung?
Food.
I want a slapstick phone. Like a slap bracelet phone.
Oh, yes, a slap bracelet phone that's...
Oh, dude.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm all for it.
That's what they're working toward. That's their master plan. Yeah.
I mean, like, using a phone with one hand kind of ruins a bunch of features, but who cares? Just as long as you can make it. But
to watch a video, you have to rotate your wrist. You have to look at your wrist to watch a video.
You have to follow the person on the screen.
It's immediately like, hey, we don't need cameras anymore. Let's just get rid of those.
That's what all those renders of the Apple Watch looked like before it came out. Everyone was like, this is the Apple Watch. Yeah. It's like all curved around someone's wrist.
Yeah.
I loved that the Apple Watch basically had like no accurate leak. Like before the Apple Watch dropped, no one guessed it right. There was no one who got it right. And I'm like, we're probably never going to have that again. Like a moment where it's like, we actually saw the way it looked at the event.
Yeah.
That never happens anymore. We know what everything looks like.
Did it happen with the Mac Pro?
The trash can one?
Yeah.
I think it happened. I think we had accurate ones. What's that one?
I wasn't following tech as much back then. Maybe it did get leaked. I'm not sure.
Yeah. You know what I miss?
I don't know.
What do you miss?
I miss back in the day, just a few years ago, when like you didn't see the next iPhone 6 months before they launched it. I miss those days because then you had those crazy concepts in YouTube videos like the next iPhone has a holographic keyboard that shoots out on the desk and shoots fire. It was way better. It was way better speculation there. But now we know, like it's less cool.
The days when the new Xbox would be coming out, it's like, this is the Xbox 900, and it's an orb that hovers on your TV stand.
Yeah,
like that's the shit I like.
Xbox 720.
Oh man,
exactly.
Yeah, that
720.
one. Exactly.
Yeah.
Well, I feel like Apple's doing it on purpose because when you have people bullshitting and they're like, oh, the phone's gonna shoot a holographic keyboard out, it's gonna be a Mac Pro inside of a phone, it's gonna be crazy, it's the future. Then people's expectations are up here, and then Apple announces a phone, and then everyone's like, well, fuck, now I'm disappointed. Why did you ruin this, Apple? This is your fault.
That's true.
Even though it's totally not Apple's fault.
Yeah, they gotta set them low. Even though there were those reports that they're trying to like crack down on leaks, I was like, aren't the leaks good? Like
Isn't that what you would say though if you were also leaking your own shit?
Maybe. There you go. It's like, oh no, so many people are too excited. We need to stop all of it. By the way, there's a leaked image of AutoCAD file.
just put this on CNET. No one will see it on CNET.
the part you know this more than anyone, John. The problem is like the next year's updates are so predictable at this point. You don't even have to have a leak. It doesn't take a genius to be like.
That's how I get all my predictions.
Make
right?
A bigger tab.
I just say what they did 3 years ago.
Yeah, it's just going to be like, oh, they made a 5.8-inch OLED iPhone. Next one will be bigger. It's not a it's not a giant guess. Like you didn't need AutoCAD files to be leaked for that. Then the leaks come out and it's like, yeah, it's exactly what we thought.
Okay.
So this is a great question.
Go ahead.
Do you got something?
Oh, I'm gonna jump on Drew's dick here in a second. Not in a good way either.
Okay, do it after. This is a kind of a Drew question, so maybe it'll flow.
Okay, I'm ready. He's
Zach
ready.
Talks
I don't know.
Tech just sent us $100 in Canadian money.
Oh, fucking $100, Zach! Come on, man.
Basically, Monopoly money. He says, question for Drew: did the Louis Rossmann video play any part in how you're approaching videos and your content now? I feel like your content has been holding back since that retort from him. Rossmann was a dick in that video. Glad we could meet earlier this week.
Here we fucking go, man. Yes, the juicy stuff happened on Recycle Bin. This is what I'm talking about.
Great Rossmann talk. We're going back to that again.
Oh yeah.
So like, what do you guys?
Wait, real quick, is this like your first? Is this your first public response?
No, this is like my 9th.
Okay. God damn it! Why'd you take that away from us?
Okay, never mind. It's my first on another channel. How about that?
Okay, I'll take it.
Yeah.
You heard it here first.
So I can go now? That's good.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, this is your turn.
Okay.
This is
Cool. So basically what it did when I first started watching it was I realized that when you treat a dialogue like that and you go into a conversation, because clearly I was wrong on certain things. And in my response video, I absolutely agreed. You are way more knowledgeable on this. I do not know as much as you do. My response was more to channels that were watching the law room, like there's courtroom files coming out saying Apple knew such and such. That's the only reason we were talking about it again. And I was saying that there's all these YouTubers out there that basically grabbed their iPhone 6, bent them, and then said Apple knew this would happen. I wasn't watching phone repair guy is seeing slight bending over time, which is causing the CPUs to be dislodged. I'm like, I'm not responding to that. I'm responding to channels going, Apple, what's wrong with you? It's like,
right.
I was saying that's silly. So if you come at it from this is a different side of the story Drew doesn't know about, and critique him on that side of the story, yeah, I'm very ill-knowledge. But if you come at it from shut your mouth, you have no right to speak on this subject because you are not me, because you do not do what I do, it means that your gate for your audience goes wide open and says, oh, our creator said this, we can say anything now. So it just basically sent ocean waves, because we've been called out by other tech channels before, big ones. You get a wave of comments that are just hateful no matter what their intention was. I can't
think of anyone else who called you out on anything.
That's true. I'm lying again. Sorry. Yeah. But either way,
definitely not us.
Big old audience. Excuse me. You're making me cough.
Are you going to die live on the stream? Fuck yeah. Let's get the views.
Drew Death live on stream. You heard it here first.
I've told all my friends I want to stream my death. And I can title it Stream Till I Die. Anyway, I want to show like when you open up those gates, because I think Roberto Blake talked about this on Twitter one time. He was like, a lot of YouTubers take that like, oh, my fans are bad. Sorry. What can I do? Yeah. But you kind of set the example in your content for how you handle the situation. And when you open up that's okay to treat people like that or talk to them like that, they're going to take that and duplicate it, multiply it, go higher, go further. Right. And it made my comment section completely useless. Like I can't turn off the comments because I need to know what I need to improve on. I need to know what I can do better on. It's just a green
light. When the creator themselves does that, it's just a green light for everyone else to, it's like, sure, it's okay to call them a bunch of names.
Right. And I wasn't trying to say like he's completely wrong, he's a complete jerk. I know he's not, and he's a very well-knowledge guy, and he's got a great channel, and he's captivated a great audience. Like he's been good with that. But when you open up the gates, like I said, it makes growth or learning, as he even said in his video, I hope you learn something, very difficult when everyone's response is just kill yourself. It's like, how are we learning from this? I would love to sit down and have a discussion about it. In full disclosure, not Rossman himself, but someone who worked with him or worked for him emailed me from his business and said, hey, could we have a discussion? Can we invite you out here and show you around our office space and teach you how this works? And I was like, I appreciate the offer and thank you for being so kind to offer that. But anytime I am going to show my face on your channel, my job's just going to get a billion times harder. So I think it's better that I don't do that. And I just step back, because there's been a lot of people who have been like, Drew, react to Dave Lee's most recent video, react to this guy's video who's like, iOS user switches to Android, here's what he found. And they're like, react to this, react to this. And I've been like, all it really does is stir up the other's channel's audience and then make them all come back at you. And that's not helpful. It's really just, it encourages what people expect you and me to do, which is just hate each other, and they just want fight. So I'm like, if I can go on without reacting to a video, and usually I watch them and I'm like, oh, that's a good point. No, that's not a good point. Okay.
I mean, that's why we're here in the first place, was because you reacted to the video Brian and I did about the iPhone 10 and Apple sucking now and all that stuff.
Right. And for the record, not my idea. my ex-editor watched it and hated it and was like, Drew, you have to react to this. And because that day I had nothing else.
And clarification, he didn't like me, right? He was not a fan.
I think he still does.
Understandable.
To this day. Like I started talking to you and getting to know you better. And I was like, John's not a bad guy. Like, we actually agree on quite a lot. And he's still like, oh, but he said this about the iPhone, and I can't stand that he said, it didn't.
That's half the people.
Either way,
me, honestly, yeah.
Sorry, let me make sure I answered Zach's question. Yeah, it definitely changed the way I make my content. Not necessarily in holding back, but just like, let's try to reach my audience primarily, and like not get big on YouTube just by going after other people.
So are you going to be less combative? You're wrong. Are you going to be less combative moving forward, or you just going to
maybe not permanently? I'd say for now, I would like to just relax and just kind of go back to just making stuff that I'm interested in. Yeah. And for the record, I don't want my incentive to making a video be this will get a bunch of views. There's always part of that, but at the same time, you don't want to be like, I'm going to get a bunch of views, but I'll also get a bunch of hate. But at least it's publicity. Yeah. As long as it's publicity, that's all that matters. It's like, that's okay. I'd rather just focus on what my audience likes and what I'm interested in. And that's important to me in my daily job. Because I took a vacation recently just because I was getting so tired of the tech genre. And I was like, let's just make it interesting as possible and not burn out on it.
Right. I have something I would like to bring up.
Oh, sure. Boy.
Yeah. Well, there's actually a couple things. But
is this where stabbing comes in?
Yeah, this is the part where I stab him.
A2, John.
Yeah. So, I mean, this is a discussion for all three of us. I think Brian and I are likely to lean towards one direction, and Drew, I know, is leaning towards the opposite. IGTV. IGTV.
Oh, yeah. I love this topic. Everyone in my life hates me because they're like, Drew, stop talking about IGTV. I love talking about this.
So for clarification, I think it's going to do really fucking well. I'm really excited for IGTV. I have a different perspective and I look at it differently, and I think that's where the disconnect is. Brian, what about you? Any feelings? Any feels for IGTV?
I think it has its place. It's certainly like filling a niche. I wasn't as positive on it before. Yes. No. It's a definite like. It's a little wedge fitting right in the pie. It's like right next to YouTube and Twitch and like all the other media. It's right there.
It's a very tiny wedge, but it's there.
It is. It has a wedge.
I'm bringing this up to Drew because I've seen multiple times he's tweeted about it. We got in a little tiff on Twitter about it. About how is tiff a word? Did I just say a noise?
Yeah. You're good, man.
Yeah.
Okay. Because Drew, it wasn't even just his. It wasn't even just his perspective. Like, I agree with Drew. This is not a YouTube competitor. Instagram wants it to be a YouTube competitor, but it's really fucking not. It'll never be.
No.
Right.
But Drew seemingly refuses to post content on there because he's not getting money, because it's not monetized right now. And a lot of people took that as Drew only cares about money. Yeah, Drew only cares about. I'm surface level, Drew.
Sure, you're very. Yeah.
Everyone was like, "Wow, Drew only cares about money. Fuck you, Drew. You fucking money hugger." I sort of understand where he's coming from, but Drew, your perspective on IGTV.
So I agree on the element that it is here to stay. I don't think it's going to die out. I don't think it's going to. Nothing Instagram does really dies off. Everything Instagram does catches on to some audience to some extent. And I understand everyone saying it is not a YouTube competitor because it is completely different type of content. The problem is, like I said in my more recent video, it's just a terrible one. As in, half, like 70% of YouTube could not make the same content on IGTV. No matter how differently they film their content, they just can't. There's just
the problem was
Instagram
in their press conference saying basically indirectly and directly that this is a YouTube competitor.
They used their logo. They described their app. They basically did everything but say this is better than YouTube. So you kind of, I agree. No, it's not a threat to YouTube. I think that's what more people are meaning when they say it's not a YouTube competitor. It is, both on the sense of where edited content is uploaded and where, more importantly, where advertisers go with their ads. They want to put ads on the sites that they think people are on the most often. And in that way, it is a competitor. It's not a great one, but it is a competitor. Like it's not going to work. YouTube's not in trouble. I wish they were in trouble, but that's what I'm more frustrated about with IGTV. It's fine. It's its own little like vertical. It can be more personal because it fills up more of the screen, whatever. That's fine. It's its own thing. It's basically stories, but now longer with a desktop uploader. And that's pretty much it. But my more argumentative stance is, did we really need that as the internet? Like, did we need another platform where you edit things differently? Because what I think we really need is an actual legitimate YouTube competitor that is a threat, because YouTube's got a lot of problems right now. They mess up a lot, but they can make, sub boxes messed up. They can make your thumbnails messed up because they're not worried about anything. There's no threat. There's no one coming into their field and saying, hey, we can do YouTube better. There's so few sites that have the potential to do that. You can bring up Twitch, you can bring up Vimeo, you can bring up, I don't know, Facebook, whatever. But all of those are either shrinking platforms or so small that they could not compare to the size of YouTube. Instagram was like one of the last remaining possible sites that could make something like that's a direct clone of YouTube. Instagram's great at cloning things. Why couldn't they do it on YouTube? Just be like, here's YouTube, got a desktop uploader, you can watch in horizontal, you've got a search section, you can look through stuff. It's just as good as YouTube, except our monetization. And I'm not just saying that, I want to be clear. It's not just me saying I want to make money, though that is important for a lot of people.
There's a specific
It's more important that
there's a specific tweet.
I know which tweet you mean.
Of course you do. That I want to clear up for everybody. Okay, so this is what you tweeted. This is what caused a ruckus. From Tailosive Tech on Twitter. Even as its own separate platform with tons of issues and hypocrisy in design, I've decided not to upload to IGTV until they tell us what the monetization policies are. For all we know, it could turn out that only work for users over 1 million followers. In that case, why bother?
So I understand the point of view of people saying, oh, Drew's not getting paid, so that therefore he doesn't care. When I say monetization policy, that is not just from my point of view. That is you guys, the viewer. Ads are something you guys have to watch. Now, monetization policies, you may think it's going to be like YouTube, like you get monetized, you don't get monetized. It could be like Twitch. We don't know. Facebook doesn't have a secure, reliable ad format. You have to get contacted by Facebook for it to work. We don't know how they're going to handle it, but on Twitch, at least, you cannot be an affiliate. You cannot be a partner, and they'll still put ads on your video just to support them. As in, even if you plan on putting ads on IGTV or you don't plan on monetizing, you just be like, oh, I just want views or I just want sponsorships, whatever. It could end up being 10-second ads before every video. This is an autoplay app. Stuff starts playing the second you open it. The actual app, as it's going to work day to day, we haven't seen yet. We don't know the info about. And I've said in my response video, it could be a very fair, very reasonable monetization policy that's great for viewers and creators. It could be. but we just don't know yet. And I'm not going to commit to it, or I'm not going to spend time on it, because so much of my day I'm working on tons of content I don't get paid for, but I'm passionate about it. I want to talk about movies. I want to review TV shows.
And
I don't get paid
food.
zip for that. And food. Yeah. All that passion. And I'm passionate about things I see a future in. In my video, I compared how YouTube is not anti-vertical. In fact, it's better at being a vertical media player than IGTV is, because there's no wasted space. You can watch videos while replying to comments, while looking at links and descriptions. IGTV has to cover
That's
up
one thing that fucking burns
content.
my dick off, dude. When I go to comment on a video and it just
kills
stops
me.
the video. Like,
Yes,
that makes me
and I'm
not
just like-
want to comment.
Right. And I have to ask myself, because I haven't seen a good response to this, why not let it be a YouTube clone? What's the disadvantage there? People are desperately on YouTube like, where else can we go? We don't have a choice. We have to go here. We don't want to be here, but we have to be here. What's so bad about Instagram making a YouTube clone? We didn't care when they copied Snapchat. Everyone was fine with it, and everyone switched to it. Why couldn't they do that same thing with YouTube? It would have been fine. You could just, if you wanted the vertical exclusive stuff, make stories longer. It's the same thing. Just extend that and be like, okay, if you want to make money via stories, you can do that. It's longer now. It's desktop
there had to be
uploader.
a thing, though. There had to be a thing.
They had to put their own gimmick. They had to put their own shtick on it. Unlike stories.
There had to be something.
But
there hasn't been
That had to be
a
unique.
direct clone of YouTube that out YouTubed YouTube. It just doesn't work.
well,
My
like,
argument is
Twitch
like,
is attempted. They're smaller, so they can't.
They have.
They can't
well,
compete.
I also see Twitch as a whole different piece of the pie. Like
It's an alternative.
there's no
Sure.
competing there. But like,
No.
if there is a company that could, it's fucking Amazon. Amazon owning Twitch.
Yeah,
Like,
it is.
I agree. I agree.
The issue here is resources. Like, every competitor that has attempted to fight YouTube, we'll use the latest one, vid.me, which is funny because I said it was going to die, and literally 2 days later it died, and I got to go on the show and do one of those things that I do. But
Oh yeah, one of those things.
Exactly.
yeah, one of those things. But the issues with them is like they don't have the resources, right? They just don't. Like, they grew a little bit, and even a little bit was too much, and they couldn't sustain the platform. But
Exactly.
my
You need a
argument
giant
is,
company to make a YouTube
Absolutely.
clone. It can't just be some third party.
It
It
won't
has
be
to
a
be a
startup.
Facebook or an Amazon or an Apple.
and even
it
now
has to be something huge.
we don't know how much money YouTube makes.
Not exactly.
We don't. Yeah,
Take
we don't know.
everything we're making, double it. That.
Yeah.
They get the other half, right?
I mean, but for all
They
we
take
know, they could be
50%.
struggling.
They could
Imagine.
I
imagine,
believe they're not
operating at a
making
loss.
money.
Imagine.
Yeah.
I believe
how-
they are losing money.
Imagine the monthly costs of fucking hosting all this garbage.
Be. Oh my god. Yeah,
It's
that's
insane.
Um, one thing no one talks
No,
about.
like
is
think
the
of how many
territory
sites
that
allow you
comes-
to upload. Yeah. Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, the territory. No, it's okay. The territory that comes with saying we're competing with YouTube. What are you saying?
Yeah.
with
Yeah.
that? Like, that's
Right.
basically like you're seeing a giant and you're like, I'm gonna fuck you up, giant. It's like, okay,
Right.
well, go ahead and
You're
show us
messing-
how.
You're absolutely messing with fire. But like, think of how many sites out there let you have unlimited uploads that are up to 8K, 4K at 60. And you can upload as much as you want for free.
That's
Doesn't matter
insane.
what,
Yeah.
any channel name. And despite, I think the monetization rules are a lot harder than they should be, but still.
Absolutely not.
How much
Another place
money-
we disagree. Absolutely not hard.
Right. Yeah,
You know
it should
that-
be hard.
Go ahead.
Actually, no. I take
yeah.
that back.
we
Let me
can
clarify.
change topics or
Wait.
okay.
Yeah, we can do whatever we want. Fuck it. Who cares? We don't have a job. This isn't a real job.
Yeah.
No.
They should be hard, dude. They should be hard
Mhm.
because these. I feel like smaller you don't fucking count. I see your perspective
Okay,
where
okay.
you have a channel that's up here, right?
Mhm.
And you're pissed because YouTube takes a while to monetize the rest of your channels, right? Because you already did the thing.
Well, not just mine. I'm talking about other people I know personally in my life that wanted to
Yeah.
make their own stuff.
If there's an issue where if you do meet the requirements and YouTube takes too long, that's a good thing to be pissed at YouTube about.
That's what I'm talking about specifically.
Yeah.
The rules themselves, I'm mild about, but I'm talking about like telling people it'll be confirmed within a week,
Yeah.
and then taking 4 months. I'm upset about that.
happened with you. My issue is with smaller creators being fucking bitches and feeling entitled to money because they made a thing.
Oh,
I
sure.
uploaded a video. Why don't I get money, YouTube? Like, fuck you, whoever
Sure.
you are, smaller creator, Jimbo, stupid asshole. You get to upload videos for free on the second largest website on the planet. You have access to everybody, and you're over there being a little bitch because you don't get $20 a month. Shut the fuck up.
Did you make a video on that?
Well, and I'm also
on Twitter, yeah.
Okay.
I'm also talking monetization as in the rules they put on who does and doesn't get monetized based upon the content. I don't think makes sense. I do it. I follow the rules, and my policy.
You have to follow the rules.
I mean, like, we were following it before they existed. Like, when Tailosive started, we were like, no cursing, no language, or no controversies or violence and stuff like that. Like, the new rules, we were like, oh, great, we're already in. We don't have to change anything. But I don't think other media sites have to follow those rules. I think they're too hard on that. I like the news, like TV doesn't have to follow that. Why should we? Like, what? I don't get it. There's so many channels I watch that are allowed to curse and say whatever they want, whether it's news or violence. It's just,
I put that on the brand.
There were a couple of instances that were crossing the line, I'll admit, but they overpunished. They went too far.
What would you say crossing the line is? Like dead guy in the forest or ISIS videos?
Yes. There were literal people, like there were white supremacist racists on the platform. Yeah. That's a problem. Yes. You don't want to pay those people. I get it. But to go that far and say like, oh, there's racists, let's not allow language anymore. Like, if you curse now, that's not okay. Yeah. That's. I was like, that isn't. You're punishing all the wrong people. And I think more recently, a month ago or something, people found out there were still like supremacy channels still getting paid and stuff. And I was like, all this happened for nothing. Yeah, it's just like, this one guy in particular hates black people. Oh yeah, everyone else, you can't say fuck. Don't say fuck. Bad news.
I mean, we all know that YouTube operates under the understanding that as the bigger you get, the looser the rules are with you, right? Like that's kind of that's becoming general knowledge.
To a certain size. If you get into the millions, but not like 100K,
it's like
no.
It's like if we showed a dead guy hanging in the forest, channel terminated out.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
You know
what's funny about that whole Logan Paul situation was that YouTube never took down the vlog. Logan took down the vlog, and yet anyone who re-uploaded the vlog, they got it taken down by YouTube.
Yeah.
YouTube took down the re-uploads, but not the original.
It was on trending.
They have to pick it to be on trending. Nothing goes to trending automatically.
No. It's all automatically generated and picked by the algorithm, Drew.
Hell no. Where's the content cops on trending then?
I'm with you. I'm with you. But the official words from YouTube is definitely just happens because of the algorithm.
Fairly confident YouTube will say we're running a small experiment every time there's a glitch. Every time something goes wrong, they're like, oh, that was an experiment. We meant to do that. That was intentional.
It failed.
Yeah. You know, dude. Anyway, we were talking about IGTV. I hope we didn't abandon that too soon.
Yeah. Okay. So you are not going to use IGTV until they get, or even if it was monetized, would you use it at all? Are you just totally against?
Depends on the rules. Currently? Like what if it turns out to be like IGTV has unskippable 30-second ads the second you open the app? But now I don't want to publish to it. It's like that sounds like a terrible site.
I get that. Yeah.
Yeah. Are you assuming that the people who don't feel like turning their phone are going to put up with 30-second ads?
Yeah.
Right.
Okay. So there is a disconnect there. Like with Front Page Tech, we upload a video. It's a daily show. Your expectations are set. You know how long the show is. If you have to sit through a 30-second ad, whatever. On IGTV, though, I can see what you're saying because at least from where I'm coming from, I think I look at it as like a totally new opportunity to show a different side of you, to make more personal content. And I don't think that personal content, if it's 2 to 3 minutes long, you should be forced to sit through a 30-second ad or like Facebook does it. See, Facebook is a motherfucker because Facebook, they have to have they have to have the video autoplay, right? Because as you're scrolling, you don't go to Facebook to watch videos. So what they do is you scroll. It starts autoplaying a video, and once you just see like 5 seconds of it, and then you decide, okay, maybe I'll stick around. And as soon as you start watching it, fucking mid-roll ad on Facebook.
Right.
Assholes.
Right.
And right in the middle of everything.
When people say, like I saw people saying, when I upload to IGTV, I get a lot of views. And it's like, well, it's because no one clicked on it. It's like it just starts playing now. which means that like the views I don't think are going to be as genuine or as engaged as audiences are going to be on YouTube. Like somehow Instagram made me think, hey, YouTube's designed pretty well graphically. It's like the mobile app makes so much sense. You know, I open it, nothing's jumping in my face. There's no ads immediately. I've got, you know, like, well, for now, I've got subscriptions. I got trending. I can watch a video and look at the description at the same time. I can look at the comments and there's no big black
without
bars
everything
anywhere.
shitting its britches. Yeah.
Yeah, I was trying to see. A lot of people were saying IGTV is more personal. I'm like, how? I can't reply to comments and watch a video at the same time. I feel like that's more engaging. Right?
I think when I say more personal, I think it's from like the relationship between creator and viewer. I just don't know how somebody that is completely unknown jumps on IGTV and becomes successful. I think it's a really good platform for existing creators that want another outlet to talk. I think that's great.
There's
John,
an Explore tab.
Do you think it's more
on Instagram?
Yeah, there is. Yes.
Yeah.
They had that over Snapchat.
Keep in mind that literally when you open up IGTV, it's showing you shit. It's the For You tab on IGTV, and there's a good portion of that stuff that you're not actually following. It's literally just the algorithm saying, "Hey, we think you would like this." And I kind of listen. I kind of like that. I like Spotify doing that. I pay for Spotify. Words. I pay for Spotify specifically for Discover Weekly. That's the feature that I can't get away from. It's just like, here's stuff that you never heard before that we think you like. And I think that's a really good thing for IGTV to do. It just gotta, I don't know. I gotta see more from it and see what they offer and see if they have a lot of proving of themselves to do to everybody else.
Right. And I could totally see it. Could it be banners? You know, YouTube has little things that show up on the top, in which case some of the content we might have to design differently. What if you're all uploading your vertical vlogs and then you find out a banner's covering up your text every time you put it on? I think I prefer like a 10, 20 second ad in between videos that you watch. Right.
Kind of
basically what I had on Twitter
or something.
Yes. There's ads on stories, and I see the super chat there about it. But I'm saying that stories is 10-second content. This is technically up to 1 hour content. I don't expect ads to be identical. I think the ad policy may change. Maybe it won't. If it doesn't, great. I'd be interested in making content for it. Right. But until I know, I'm not passionate about it just from a point of, hey, vertical's different. I'll try that. That's not enough. Right. You can't convince me with that.
This is the thing for you, Drew, because I say this often. When people are like, they wish for a YouTube competitor that just someone needs to come in and just be YouTube better. I think the common thing that I say is if there was another, not going to be a startup, if there was another competitor that some company made that was specifically direct competition to YouTube. And let's just say it's successful and you have creators jumping ship, they're moving. Well, what you're going to experience there is the creators jump ship. Because the creators jump ship, the audience jumps ship. And then on that other platform, you end up with the same creators, the same viewers. And when the viewers are there, then you're going to have the brands jump ship, and you're going to end up with the same brands on that other platform. And you're going to have all the same problems. I feel like if you have... It's the brands that, I mean, YouTube is very, very reliant on these brands. And the brands are the ones that are disconnected and don't understand new media. Once we have another platform, I feel like if it is somewhat successful and people move, the problems are going to move with it. And we're going to end up with the same problem. And it's just going to be how that brand handles it, how that, competitor handles the same problems. Because I don't think there's any way around.
Partially.
Yeah.
I think there's definite things that an Amazon-owned company would do differently than a Google-owned company. There's some fundamental differences YouTube would have with a competitor that I think there's easily, but advertisers aside, you're right, they could bring a lot of the same monetization problems with them, but hey, let's mess with the sub feed. Hey, let's just make a monthly subscription and not give any of it back to the creators. That's, I bring this up a lot. Twitch is awesome. They've got their own built-in currency that you can earn yourself. People can donate to you for free. If you have Amazon Prime, you can sub with Twitch Prime. You instantly get free money. It costs them nothing, and you get paid.
It's also not the same. It's all that money is not being generated from Twitch. And Amazon's pulling in resources that they have elsewhere. That's why Twitch Prime is a thing. It's tied into Amazon Prime.
YouTube Premium costs more than Amazon Prime. It's $12 a month. Amazon Prime equates to $10. So they have more, they're raking in more money per month than Amazon. And yet you don't have that free sub a month that says, I want to sponsor this creator. I like this guy.
Yeah.
I have YouTube Red. I want to send a couple bucks his way at no extra cost.
Well,
why is that so difficult?
Well, okay. So YouTube tried to do a different, YouTube Premium exists for a different reason. It's
originals. They want to compete with Netflix.
That's the issue. That is the issue.
Why do they want to compete with
Netflix.
Like that's not an advertiser problem, right? That is a YouTube not knowing how to use money problem. Sometimes they make originals. Sometimes they make the slow-mo guy. It's just an original. It's not even exclusive to premium.
The slow-mo show is a good show. That is a good show.
I mean, it's fine.
The ends of the year.
It's a fine show. I watched it. I'm just saying it's an original. It's not even an exclusive. This is what you get if you buy YouTube. They just said, hey, you have a 10 million subscriber channel. Let's make a show with all this money people are donating to get rid of ads.
My issue is with YouTube looking at somebody popular on YouTube and being like, oh, you could probably be an actor. We'll make a movie with you. Like, it's not the fucking same thing.
No.
Dude, the partnerships they choose, the YouTubers they decide to make originals with, you know who I'm talking about. Yeah. Google is a site based on, in a company based on, we know what's best. We're going to try a billion things and do a couple of them. And I think Amazon is definitely customer first, user request. They make their decisions based upon what people ask for. I love Amazon customer service. They've done great. And I think on Twitch, they've heavily listened to their users. They've made stuff that helps creators. They've not been like, Twitch is great, pay for Twitch Plus, and we'll make a Spotify competitor. And we'll make a Netflix competitor.
Yeah.
It's like, we don't need you doing that. Just focus on the creators. That's what Twitch did. And I wish we had some other company in charge of the site like YouTube that could say, we're going to use this money you're giving us to get rid of ads and to have a couple extra features to support back into, the actual creators.
Dude, with Xander back there without any shoes on, looks like a fucking slave that he just got out of his chains and he came over here.
Go back to your cell. Sorry. I told you.
I just need a fan,
on my
sir.
fan base.
You can eat later.
He needs a fan base, right?
Yeah. So, yeah, IGTV. Well, okay, so to be specific.
Anyway.
I worked with... fuck it, who cares?
Oh, boy, here we go.
I worked with Amazon.
Here we go.
Yes.
I am loose from my chains from Amazon. So I can say... what can I say? I heard...
Easy now.
I partook in meetings and phone calls about...
We're going to get sued.
A competitor, You know what I mean? Are you picking up what I'm throwing down? True?
Sure, go ahead.
Okay, so I have overheard things that they said about a potential, if they were to hypothetically make a website that you could put videos on as a creator, it was kind of like YouTube, but not YouTube, and definitely not owned by Amazon. Absolutely not.
No.
And I can tell you that this said company has zero fucking clue.
Yeah.
Absolute zero clue. Like, Twitch, I'm so thankful for that it existed before Amazon got it. I'm glad that Amazon didn't just make it, because
into
Amazon,
the ground.
Right.
Yeah, Amazon is fucking clueless. I will tell you that.
Right.
Fucking clueless. So there will be something from a company that it rhymes with Camazon that will exist in a year, 2 or 3. There will be a thing, but I'm afraid for it.
Sure.
Twitch,
I think
I'm not afraid for. What I know and what I've heard from Camazon. I'm worried. Yeah.
Just say eBay. Just say eBay.
From eBay, yeah. Brian, is there anything in the chat? I have one more topic that we got to definitely cover in the show. Is there anything in the chat that we should jump into?
All right. Well, people have been discussing what we've been talking about, so let me see if I can find a little tidbit for us.
A little tidbit.
But before you move on, one last point.
There you go.
Even if there's a competitor to YouTube that's not as good, just the fact that there is competition could scare YouTube into thinking before they act.
I mean, competition is good for everybody, right?
Exactly. I love Samsung for pushing the bar. Even if I don't love their phones, they're encouraging the competition to work harder. YouTube needs that. Okay, that's helpful.
Yeah, somehow the foldable shit phone from Samsung will benefit Apple customers someday.
somehow, no, like think about it, really, like the curved displays, right? They have OLED. They're like, hey, we can make curved screens. Everyone was kind of like, okay, great. Then Apple saw that and said, we're going to curve our OLED display at the bottom of the iPhone 10 so we can have this unique design that no one else has been able to replicate. So it's worked out. Exactly.
No one being able to replicate. Everyone on this goddamn planet has a notch. I mean, the bottom half they can't replicate.
No, not the notch. I'm talking about the
all day. There's no Face ID in it. It's just like a camera and an earpiece, but the notch is definitely there.
No, I was definitely not referring to the notch. I meant the same size bezel at the bottom and the sides. Yeah.
I saw somebody on the show, on one of the episodes. It was a comment that I saw last night on one of the episodes from the past, 700 episodes. Mm-hmm. And someone said it was about a phone, an Android device having a notch on it. And someone said, fuck Apple for doing this.
Yeah. Oh my God.
No.
Who do you not?
Don't blame Apple. Fuck all the short-sighted.
Everyone but Samsung.
Right.
Yeah. Fuck all the short-sighted Android OEMs that just go, notch. Yeah. Okay. We'll put
Notch
it there.
anybody?
Yeah. Fuck them.
I applaud
Apple.
Samsung for. Yeah. I mean, Samsung does a lot of things wrong.
Fucking outlaw.
I applaud them for being themselves.
Yeah.
Yeah. They're being themselves, though. They're sticking with the headphone jack. They're sticking with curved displays. They're not doing a notch. No matter what people say, they stick to their guns.
The S10's not going to have a headphone jack on it.
S10's
not going to have a headphone jack on it.
It lasted for a while. It was cute.
Okay.
They kept it around for a while. It's fine.
Kind of a Drew-centric question, but this is the Drew-centric episode.
Brian, let's just walk
away. Oh, that's okay. You guys can answer stuff.
Okay, yeah. Well, from Michael Ramos, why do you think Apple has completely forgotten the Mac Mini?
Doesn't sell well. It's pretty simple.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of a like an outlier in the Apple ecosystem, right? Like,
same thing with the iPad Mini.
Such a massive company.
God,
Such a massive company. They can't be like, what was that guy's name?
Michael Ramos.
Well, Michael Ramos, that guy in particular, really likes the Mac Mini. So let's make 1 million of them to make sure he gets his Mac Mini. Yeah, but like just computers as a whole, like the traditional computer as we know it, is dying. Like, who gives a fuck? Right. The average person, here you go, everybody, Viper. The average consumer does not give a single fuck. Can they do Twitter on this?
Desktops especially.
Yeah, can they do Twitter?
Yeah.
Yep. Can they do emails? Yep. Can they talk to their friends?
Yep.
Around. Yeah.
Laptops are still kind of there. Desktops are like, what are you doing? Like, the reason they're not focusing on Mac Mini is too many people.
Right.
Yeah. They're all going for the iMac or going pre-built, custom-built PCs. You don't buy a Mac Mini.
The world is heading mobile first, whether we like it or not. The average person can do everything they want on this thing. And it's with them all the time. It's in their pocket.
Sure. I want there to be an updated Mac Mini. It would be great if they updated it, gave it some good specs in Thunderbolt 3, and it was a good price, and it doesn't have a screen, so the prices are cheaper. macOS. That would be great. I'm not saying you're wrong to want that. I'm just saying Apple's a business, just like every other thing. They're going to focus on what does well. So that doesn't do well.
Right.
No, he's wrong to want that.
And it definitely feels like, I mean,
stop wanting things.
Feel free to disagree because you have probably a better viewpoint than us. But it feels like Apple is even skewing more mobile first, even in the software area. Like, not that Mac OS is being ignored, but it definitely is on the back burner.
Dude, I will give all the credit in the world to Apple because, I mean, we heard those reports that they were going to merge iOS and Mac OS. And somebody at a conference table somewhere whispered that, and it fucking leaked immediately. Right. And the internet fucking just went haywire. So credit to them for
literally
on stage
at the keynote
saying no, not happening.
No,
that was great.
Yeah, it was a whole meme.
Because they were thinking about it. The thought crossed their mind.
Yeah. You can see like how it could work.
No, I definitely know that you just like I run my business. You got to focus on the things that pay the bills. And Mac OS, the last time they did a giant change, I don't remember which one it was. Was it Yosemite when they changed all the graphics
it was this year.
And everything?
Dark mode. Major change.
Or dark mode. Yeah, this was actually pretty noticeable.
Everything is slightly darker.
Yeah, for when they change things with Mac OS, they know that only professionals really or people who do work on them are using them anymore. People get mad people are like, stop changing everything. So they're like, okay, we won't do much. We'll back
Exactly.
off. We'll do slight, basic little updates. But with iOS, every freaking year, everything Apple Pro's like, it's going to be a graphic change this time. Everything's going to change again, like iOS 7. It's like, no, you're going to get a couple of Android features and then you'll be happy. That's
everything Apple Pro is a bish. A bish.
Aw.
Yeah, a
Don't say
bish.
that. That's
you
me.
I already
them?
did.
Whatever, it's your
I
channel.
already did.
Say whatever you want.
The opinions expressed here are not also Drew's.
Yeah.
So yeah,
I watch it.
Okay, so as a whole, though, I talked about this with you, Drew, on the Tailosive Tech podcast. You said you're like slightly disappointed in Apple for doing
this year.
What'd you say for not the things they are doing, but you're disappointed for the things they're not doing? Yes, that's what you said.
Exactly. There's a bunch of things they could have done this year that they haven't done that would have been better.
Whereas I am actually like really happy with them, extremely happy with Apple. I feel
Are you happy for what they've done or what they're going to do?
For what?
It's what they're not doing, right?
Yeah, I'm very happy for what they're not doing. Number two, I'm happy for where they're headed in the future. And there was like my fucking Nostradamus moment in January when I just said, I feel like Apple's going to start like fixing things and getting their shit together, and Google's going to start tripping over themselves. By the way, I love Android. I wish Google wasn't shitting their own britches right now.
Agreed.
But that they just are. And Apple is like, I feel like, I think I said this on Twitter. Take everything you think you know about Apple and the history that they have and throw it all out the fucking window. None of it matters. Like, for this year and at least this year and potentially moving forward, take everything you think you know about Apple and fucking forget it. I don't want to hear any more about like, oh, but Apple's history dictates this and blah, 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 blah. We're not dealing with the same Apple this year. They have learned their lesson, and I feel like they genuinely got a reality check. I mean, iOS 7 came out, and it was shit. Right. It was a shitbird. And every year after that, they were under so much pressure from competition that they just kept shoving as much as they possibly could into iOS. And as they did that, more and more problems accumulated. And this was the first year where they were like, okay, it's getting away from us, and we're getting ourselves in a predicament. If we don't fix the shit now, it'll be a lost cause, and we'll never be able to touch it. So they settled down, they were self-aware, and they fixed all the shit in iOS, and it's refined and optimized. And iOS 12, even the beta version is like twice as fast as the stable versions that we have right now.
Right.
And that's what I really that's all I wanted. That's what I've wanted for years. I keep saying I didn't leave the iPhone. I left iOS. If they fix iOS, your boy is headed right back to the farm. So, with that said, different Apple attacking the market in a different way this year. 6.1 inch iPhone.
Around the back.
6.1 inch iPhone 9. We disagree on this. Yeah, I'm so glad that we
hold on.
Even a speculated name I'm sticking with because I'm tired of saying 6.1 inch LCD 2018 iPhone.
Yeah, it's getting good. It's getting good. Let's clarify: the things you like that they're doing are not the things I don't like that they're doing. Those are separate.
You just wanted more.
Yeah, like I'm fine that iOS 12 is just a perfection OS. Then they're trying to make things right. I'm fine with that. No problem. I'm saying things like updating their MacBooks with better keyboards and iMacs and better CPUs that have come out already. They didn't do that. They could have done it by now. They haven't. Yeah. They were already behind the game.
But the free upgrade program, the free fix your keyboard program.
Yeah, that's good. I'm happy about that. That's great. Yeah, I was like, but the 2018 iPad, they were like, hey, we're having an event, but you can't watch it. And then here's this iPad, and basically the only change is that it now works with our $100 stylus we haven't changed since 2015. I'm like, this is a hypocritical product release. They would have been better off releasing for education. What do the kids need the Apple Pencils for? They're going to lose all their caps. Like, redesign
if you don't have
the pencil
a pencil,
first.
Drew, it's not school.
It's got to be a pencil. I mean, like, I know for a fact, my parents are both teachers, and they use a lot of iPads and Chromebooks at their school. They know that they're required to have laptops with keyboards in order to do a lot of state testing, which iPads legally are not allowed to do. So it's just, you're kind of screwed if you do, screwed if you don't. You could have made an iPad that is just budget, and I think they would have been better off just selling the iPad Pro from 2016 for $400 because it's got the laminated display, the stereo speakers, the better camera, and it would have been cheaper overall than buying 2018 iPad and Apple Pencil, which is together $430. I was like, this is just it's nothing wrong exactly with the product. It's not like it's exploding or sending text to people, but it's just an unnecessary middle step.
Yeah, just
didn't need to be there.
Move.
Yeah, it was an odd move they didn't need to do. That's all I was complaining about.
So I want to clarify this first with Brian, and then I'll head to Drew because I know Drew disagrees. Okay, so Brian.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
We talked about the 6.1 inch LCD iPhone, the iPhone 9.
Yeah.
We talked about it on a couple episodes ago, right? We did the thing.
Yeah.
And you disagree with me on the side of the Apple consumer is not the average consumer. And people keep bringing that up. That Brian said this. So
if I remember correctly, because this was a couple weeks ago, because it was the last recycle bin.
Yeah.
I was doing a bad job articulating my point, but what I was trying to say is the Apple consumer is the average consumer that's striving to be above average, if that makes sense.
Okay.
Like it's like they're looking through to like the grass is greener side with the Apple products. You know what I mean? They have a taste for more premium devices. So
would you agree? My claims of the iPhone, I'm going to try to call it the iPhone 9. The iPhone 9 outselling the other models this year. Do you agree? Do you disagree?
I 100% agree. Yeah.
Interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so I'm glad we clarified that because I don't want to hear about it anymore. So Brian agrees.
Yeah. Okay. I do. Yeah, I do. But I want to just I agree because that just opens the gate for more less than average consumers or whatever you want to call them to join the Apple ecosystem and then become like what you can construe as the Apple elite. You know what I mean?
That's that. Okay. So like,
yeah,
I feel like the issue with this phone is that early on, right, the reports were this is the budget iPhone, and that B word is a bad word when you put it with Apple. Like, this shouldn't be looked at as a budget phone, and that's where I think the argument of no one would buy a budget iPhone because, and that's totally right. This is not a budget. If you consider $700 or $750 budget, that's that's your thing. That's fine.
Right.
But
it's a budget iPhone.
Right. Comparatively with your $200 Android devices, $700 is not budget. I'm looking at this as a way of Apple, and I think they're purposely doing this. I don't think it's any like. I don't think there's any argument going in among Apple employees about which one's going to sell the best. I think this is a purpose business move of attacking the market in a way they haven't before, because smartphone usage as a whole is sort of declining. Not usage, upgrade cycles is what I meant.
There you go.
Sales, yeah.
They're
lower.
And we're not at the peak, but like we're getting there. We're getting burnt out, and there's especially when you have 8 million Android devices that launch during the year, and it's just that side of the garden is a mess. The Apple side, the walled side, is a different story. And I feel like this is the first time Apple, in years, that Apple is targeting the market in such an aggressive way that they're aiming to convert people this time.
Okay.
Like that is a goal. So, Drew, do you don't agree that the iPhone 9 outsells the other one?
No, I think we're getting confused on our definitions because I've talked with you about this subject very times, and I've openly said many times you could be right. I'm not completely agreeing that you're absolutely wrong. It has to be the 10 Plus.
But your opinion is that the iPhone 10 Plus is the top selling model.
At first. My prediction, because it goes either way. Like, no, listen.
Interesting. I'm listening.
No,
I got my ears ready.
Okay, yeah. Like, there's people saying in the chat, and I'm about to upload a video about this. iPhone 8 in the month of May outsold iPhone 10. You know that. You made a whole video on that.
I do. I do know that.
That is in the month of May. That does not the month of November or December. I'm saying the people who buy the iPhone at launch, those Apple Core users you talk about, because I do think a large majority of Apple's users could be considered average, given iPhones outnumber Androids in many countries. Like, it depends on your definition of what average is. It could depend on what is the most popular to buy or what is the most affordable to buy, depending on where you are in the world. It could kind of be taken a lot of different ways. But I'm saying
I'm never calling Apple products average products. I'm calling the people.
No, I'm talking customers.
Like, there's just so many Apple customers that we're fucking naive to think they're all like us. They're not. They're not watching YouTube videos.
I'm not saying that
they're
either.
not subscribed to Tailosive Tech.
I'm saying that the results can depend. Like, my argument is that when the 10 Plus and 9 come out, I think the 10 Plus will sell better because that's when all the core Apple base, the people on the iPhone upgrade program, that's when they're all getting a new iPhone. They don't want a single lens. They don't want to lose 3D touch. They all want
that's absolutely
the biggest
one.
Happen,
yeah.
Right. And then later down the road, May 2019, April 2019, then absolutely I could see the 9 outselling the 10 Plus because all the people who wanted it got it already. And all the people who want the 9 are not run out to the store day one. They're like, oh, my cycle's up. I'll get a 9 now.
Well, that's
the
argument,
way I see it going.
Yeah. My argument is like, you just can't deny how massive the user base is with Apple. And like,
right.
It's so massive that they're like separated into segments in terms of like when the race starts, when someone fucking pulls the trigger, poof, and everyone starts running. The initial core Apple customers, the ones that are watching the YouTube videos and that are really, really excited and are just waiting for it.
No,
they are going to jump
YouTube.
on. No. I'm saying like major, like heavy duty core Apple customers that just, this is what they fucking live for, are going to jump on and they're going to buy at the beginning of the race. They're sprinting and they're going to buy most likely the iPhone 10 Plus. I feel really, really bad for that 5.8 inch like follow up iPhone 10 because why? Like it's going to be the same thing.
I think it might surprise you.
Really?
Honestly, I do. Yeah, when I did, I know it's not random because we're following techie people, but I expected when I did my like Twitter poll that I just not random, but a bunch of my audience, I was like, which iPhone are you going to buy if you buy one this year? I expected the 5.8 inch 10 to be like 0%, 1%. Who wants that? It was second place. Like at least in the tech community, people online, a bunch of people were like, no, yeah, I want the 5.8 inch OLED with just a better CPU. I don't know why. I just get why. I was like, why would you get that?
You just pointed it out. The people that even know there's a better CPU or what the fuck a CPU is.
Right. They know exactly what the 9 will be lacking. So in the tech community, at least, I don't think the 9 will be exactly.
Absolutely not.
I'm saying if 9 is long-term success in 2019, not 2018.
Yeah. If it was like, if the Apple customer base was just only the people that follow Tailosive Tech on Twitter, of course, like the iPhone 9 sells 2 units and the iPhone 10 Plus sells a bunch, and then maybe the 5.8 inch. But in yesterday's episode, I tried to clarify as best as I could. There's a difference between the sprint and the whole race. Because the people that are going to jump on and buy these products are going to be the people that upgrade when Apple releases a phone. And those aren't the majority of the people. The majority of people upgrade when it's convenient to them, when they have an upgrade on their plan or when they need a phone. And that happens continually throughout the year. The average consumer, those are the people, the massive sales that happen throughout the rest of the year and the people that you aren't seeing line up in the front of Apple stores. And that's when...
That's why the 8 is outselling right now.
Yeah. Well, that's what I said
over time.
That's what I said on Twitter like months and months ago. That I think the wordage I used was the LCD model is going to really creep up into like almost 100 million units in a year. It's just going to creep up.
Sure,
it'll be insane.
No, and I think that's fair.
Am I correctly understanding that you guys are agreeing right now? Like,
I was really hoping for blood. I was hoping for blood.
Okay, look.
Yeah.
All right, I'll play devil's advocate here. I'll push a little harder if you'd like.
Okay.
I would argue that the reason the iPhone 9 may not sell as well as you're expecting, again, I'm not trying to say you're absolutely wrong, but I'll say you're absolutely wrong for the sake of the stream, for the sake of Recycle Bin. I'll say that the iPhone 9 is competing with too many other categories. The 10 Plus is the same price as the last year's iPhone that outsold everyone until the later months, again, keeping that in mind. But I'm saying, are they going to discontinue the 8 Plus? Because in that case, I don't think the only reason people didn't buy the 10 was just because of the price. I think there were a lot of differentiating factors. I think a lot of people didn't like it because of the notch. A lot of people don't like that. Gesture controls are too different. Some people hate Face ID.
It's too weird.
Some people prefer Touch ID. Too weird. So we had a lot of people that ended up going the 8 Plus or 8 route because they wanted something they knew they could rely on. And there's several ways to take the iPhone 8 outselling all the other smartphones halfway through their cycle. Is you could say, well, people care about it being cheap, but you could also say people don't care about the notch, or people don't care about gestures.
Yeah.
People want Touch ID. People want a regular old LCD iPhone. They prefer that. And I feel like the iPhone 9 is going to be clashing. If they lower the 8 Plus as they usually lower iPhones, it will be the exact same price, $700, $700. So people are going to see dual camera, 3D touch, no notch, Touch ID versus notch, no Touch ID, one camera. You see what I'm saying? I'm saying the pixel fringe on the 8 Plus is actually higher. So I'm not saying everyone will choose 8 Plus.
But have you seen the optics in the iPhone 9? Just from a distance from the renders we're getting. It's not the same that we've had. It's
you mean the
something
AutoCAD
different.
files?
He means the camera.
Yeah, the camera on the back,
renders.
according to renders and according to what we see, and literally every fucking report of it's a single lens camera also includes it's a totally different optic system. Like this is a different lens that we're seeing.
That could definitely change
that
things
has
up.
me curious. Okay, so our source that we had from OtterBox, so we mentioned in yesterday's show that reached out to us, that represents OtterBox. They had a whole thing about how they're preparing to distribute more accessories for the LCD model. But
everyone's expecting the 9.
Yeah, the end of that though was what was interesting to me. They said Apple has has more surprises for this model, but we can't say much. So what the fuck is Apple doing?
Colors.
Yeah, that's the fucking surprise of really, and that's not a surprise anymore. But like,
okay, no, I'm kidding.
I honestly think that there's Apple's doing this as a purpose business move to attack the market in a way they haven't before, and then they'll go back to being Apple again next year.
Sure. I think it's really interesting that this year, like usually you've brought this up, that the budget model is usually the smaller one or the old fashioned looking one. This is the first time the, budget iPhone, it's still $700, but it looks very similar to the regular 10 or 11 and 11 Plus. They're very similar. There will be slight differences that some will notice, but not everyone. But again, I'm still holding on to that. There's nothing else like the 10 Plus. The 10 Plus is not competing with anything else. It's like giant battery. There could be software exclusives. We don't know yet. Probably horizontal support. Face ID may be better, but RAM is better, stuff like that. It will have its own advantages. It's not clashing with any other iPhone. Whereas that 9, while it's got great features and it may have some hidden surprises, is still, as even people in the chat have brought this up, they prefer the 8 Plus because they don't like Face ID, they don't want the notch, and there's a lot of advantages I think people care about with that 8 Plus, and they're going to be equally priced.
Yeah, but those are the headphone jack people. Those are the same people that bitched about the headphone jack going away. They're fucking going to just accept it and move on. That's what's going to happen because Apple said so.
Did you know that when the iPhone 8 dropped, the iPhone 7 outsold it?
Really?
That opening week? Yeah. It's like people saw the cheaper price and went for it. So I'm saying we might see a similar thing with the iPhone 9.
Well, especially though, because the iPhone 8 was like, or the iPhone, since the iPhone 6, the design has been relatively the same. At least the front panel looks the same.
Yeah, exactly.
And I think we sort of indirectly, and this is something that Brian can clear up for us because he fucking lived with average consumers in a Best Buy.
Yay!
But I think we sort of indirectly answered the questions that I keep seeing lately of like, how come Samsung sales are so low with an iterative update with the S9, but Apple can pull out the same sort of thing and be fine? And I think we answered it here because the consumer base for Apple is so vast, and it's the average people that aren't readily accepting to adopting any sort of change. So that's why iterative updates for Apple work, because the average consumer just goes, give me the new iPhone. They don't know they don't want change scares them. And that's why for so long it was so scary to change the visuals of iOS because it would freak people out. Samsung though is the total opposite. Like there are average consumers that buy Samsung products, but I don't think that's the vast majority of Samsung people. And that's why when Samsung doesn't give a major update, everyone goes, what? What the fuck?
Yeah, well, what you're missing with that is that Apple's user base is also fairly conditioned to like new iPhone every year. Bam, 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 bam.
Yep.
You get kind of used to it. And Samsung has always been a very like, I'm gonna use this motherfucker into the ground. You know, like it's not broken. Don't change it. Don't fix it. So it's just different audiences.
Okay, picture this, Brian. You don't work for Front Page Tech. We failed. It's all dead. Money's gone. Yeah, money's gone. Everything's gone. Drew owns the channel now.
Yay.
So that's the scenario.
Okay.
And now you go back to Best Buy. You work at a Best Buy.
Okay. Yeah.
And a fucking average 45-year-old woman walks in and she goes, okay, I want the new iPhone. Do you think you hand her the iPhone 9 and iPhone 10 follow-up or iPhone 10 Plus, and she goes, well, that one has an OLED display, and this one has an LCD, so I don't want the LCD one. Do you think there's anything going on in the head there of like differentiating between those displays?
Would blow my mind. That would freak me out. I'd be like, holy shit, who are you?
Does the 45-year-old woman go, okay, what A chip is in that phone?
No. I would be like, do you like the new look? Or do you want the old style? Like, are you afraid of like switching off of your 7 to go to an 8? And then we go to the 9 and it'd be like, there's a better model. There's a 10. Yeah. And like, whatever.
Okay. So I think average people are going to walk in there and they're not going to understand that like it's lower spec and it has an LCD display. And there's like several reasons why the price can be lower. They're just going to see, oh, it just has one camera and they were able to lower the price that much. That's fine. Give me that one.
And then, and you know what? All the people selling those phones, maybe with the exception of like the Apple Store, will be like, yeah, there's really no reason for you to get that more expensive phone. Like, what are you going to do with two cameras? Two camera lenses?
Somebody's going to walk into the Genius Bar or an Apple Store and be like, hey, I want a new iPhone. Should I get the iPhone 9? I'm thinking about getting the iPhone 9. And the guy's going to be like, I mean, okay, are you an Android user? You're switching. This is you switching. You're coming over here now. Yeah, $700, real cheap. Go ahead and buy it. I think that's the ultimate goal this year. Is to get
I personally think the situation you're describing, they would still go for the regular sized 8 or 8 Plus because they don't need all the bells and whistles or the 7.
Bells and whistles
saying the 7
isn't
Plus.
the look. It just looks new.
Yeah, I would say it is. I would say having the bezel-less design and gesture controls and the notch and Face ID are like, by the way, 10 still outselling at originally, not in May, but originally outsold in unit numbers, everyone, including the 8 and 8 Plus. That was the more expensive option. With the 7 and 7 Plus, more people went with the 7 Plus. Yeah. And it look-wise looked very similar to the regular size 7. But the dual camera won it over. That won over a bunch of people. So I don't see why that same audiences wouldn't go for the dual camera here.
I would absolutely love to see no fucking reports, nothing. This will never happen. I would love Tim Cook to slide over a piece of paper and say, here's the unit sales. I would love to see it. Because I'm confident that Apple has made a shit ton of money off of the iPhone 10 if you total all that up, because it's very expensive. But in terms of units, I'm confident that within the year of the iPhone 10 existing, or the first year and a half, the units are going to be outweighed by the iPhone 8, regardless of how much money the iPhone 10 made because of the price. I want Tim Cook just for once, Timmy. You're doing so much good for us right now. I would love to just print out one piece of paper and mail it. Just slide it over to me. I won't even tell anybody. I just want to see the thing.
Right.
I'm just so curious to know.
Here's a side question. What percentage do you think of people who, okay, let's say that the real big fight coming up is going to be between the iPhone 9 and the 8 Plus, right? What percentage of people do you think are going to be either told via marketing or like learn from their friends that like, okay, this design of the iPhone is going away soon. They're not going to make a new 8 lookalike, right? Yeah. It might as well move to the new design now because that's where Apple's going in the future, even though that's not confirmed. You know?
Well, yeah.
So there's a percentage of people are going to do that, right?
Marketing, I mean, that's a really good point. Marketing is a big factor in this. The way Apple can just release one fucking campaign, like one commercial, and change sales. Just like boom. I think that's what I'm very confident in the shot on iPhone campaign that we just saw, the very recent one with the iPhone 8 is why we're seeing it outsell. You don't think Apple's marketing is why the iPhone 8's doing really well right now.
I mean, Apple knows more about marketing than I do. I am in no place. I'm just talking about from a personal perspective. I don't know anyone who's watched an ad like that and made their mind up from that. In that case, Samsung would be selling all the phones in the world if ads were that easy. They could just show take a picture. And it's like, if that's how easy it was, Samsung should be king of the market 12 months a year.
Samsung's weird. Samsung's weird, Nicky. They got fucking 4 different messaging apps, and one of them sends out your boobies.
From my experience, the biggest influence
but the ads
besides marketing is the people surrounding the consumer. What their family uses, what their friends use. That influences every decision they make.
Which has an Apple logo on it, so.
Yeah. And traditionally, like when someone switches to an iPhone, pieces start falling in place. Like, okay, this is random, but my niece just got an iPhone 10. She switched off for her LG piece of shit, whatever. And during that, she talked to me about it. And I had iPhones forever. And I was like, yeah, it's great. I mean, she saw me do all the live photo shit and, all the cool little gimmicky things you can do with iPhone. And she's like, oh. And the dominoes are falling in place.
Yeah, Drew just said right now, it is a bad time to buy a new iPhone. But
I was going to say,
his fucking niece she's the average person.
Yeah,
getting a 10.
She just bought an iPhone. It was her time to upgrade. She bought an iPhone. That's the point. Yeah. That is the point. She doesn't know that a new iPhone is 2 months away and she should hold off for the new one.
Yeah, and the crazy thing,
consumer is getting the 10, the $1,000 one.
Well,
because it's got all the best features,
she's like 16 and I don't know if she spent her own money.
She just graduated.
That's her market.
She works at Dunkin' Donuts. Okay, so
okay. I'm just saying that's Apple's market, dude. I've seen 6-year-olds with iPhone 10s. I don't think that's like
me too.
a problem.
Jealous.
Yeah, super jelly.
I'm just saying that, like, when look at the between years, right? When the 7 and the 7 Plus came out, more people bought the 7 Plus. Then when the 3, 8, 8 Plus, and 10 came out, people went for the 10. There were light replacements of the 7 and the 7 Plus, but they still went for the one that had the best overall features.
Of course you would do that. When the 7 and the 7 Plus came out, after 4 goddamn years, the 7 Plus is the only thing that was like, oh, that's different. That was the dual camera in the portrait mode, and that was in beta mode at the time. That was like Apple's first. Yeah, that was Apple's first getting their foot in the door of releasing something that's not finished yet, which that's a whole different topic. Moral of the story for this year, and not just the rest of 2018. I mean, from here, 12 months from now, Apple's gonna fucking embarrass Google. That is what's happening right now. Google is fucking Google is clueless right now. Clueless. Fucking clueless. And they don't give a fuck.
It doesn't matter to them.
That's the problem.
That's not where they make their money. Pixel
doesn't matter. It doesn't matter.
They sell ads.
The Pixel they sell because they're not going to notice.
Right. And KBHD is going to say it's awesome and that's all they care about. And then they'll do the exact same thing the following year. No camera, AI, everything.
Yeah.
I'm very, very certain that Apple attacks the market this year in an aggressive way that we haven't seen for a while.
I agree with that.
Really sad.
Drew
no
just
matter what outsells
why Google sucks.
Yeah.
Drew finally made sense why Google sucks. AI everything. AI are designing the phones. That makes sense. They see the notch, are like, people like notch on phone.
Put notch on phone. What a fucking joke, dude. That Pixel 3 XL can go fuck itself.
Yeah, it's bad.
Well, what's funny is if you just watched YouTube, you would assume that like the 2 giant most successful phone companies are Pixel and Samsung. That's all YouTubers talk about. It's like Samsung or Pixel. Whereas there are literally more Apple Watches sold like per month than there are Pixel phones sold a year. Literally, that's not a joke. Like the
entry cost is the big thing.
And what is your YouTuber? What is Marquez going to say? He's going to say, Apple Watches. I mean, they're there, but who cares?
But here's the thing.
Like
I don't need that from Google. That's not Google's point. I think I mentioned on the Tailosive Tech podcast, the same thing they did with Google Fiber. They didn't. No one gave a fuck about Google Fiber. Google didn't want everyone to have Google Fiber. They just wanted to scare the market and make speeds for every other ISP faster, so people could access Google stuff faster. That's all they care about.
There's a wonderful video by Polymatter that compares or no, I think it's Tech Alter that compares Apple and Google and the fundamental differences between them, and it explains everything. Like Google's policy is just get to the idea first and perfect it later. Apple's the polar opposite. The reason you see such aggressive tactics from Apple is because if they don't sell iPhones, they're dead. That's where they make their money. Facebook makes it from ads. Amazon makes it from retail. They can experiment with Alexa. They can experiment with other stuff. Google makes it from ad search. Like they're not worried about the sales. They just want to make what they feel like is good. Doesn't matter if anyone cares about it, just as long as they think it's good.
And that's all I want from Google. I don't care if they don't sell any Pixels. I just want them to be like, this is the fucking hardware that Android should be running on. This is the prime example. Everyone else take notes. But
oh jeez.
Yeah,
it's so bad.
If the fucking
I know.
example, if the example of the phone has a fucking notch on it and a big fucking case, what the fuck?
John, you can turn it off. Though.
Headphone
it's
users.
okay. You can turn it off. It's all right.
You can't turn the chin off. You can't turn my disappointment off.
Everyone, wait for the chat to explode.
This is the
without
new
my
meme.
ears.
AI yourself a smaller chin. AI yourself a
there you go.
set fan base.
Well, wait for the
AI
algorithm.
yourself
to pick up on
camera.
it, like
They've
smaller
single-handedly ruined the market for the next 2 years. Ruined it.
Yeah.
Every other
go that
Android
far,
OEM, this is our life now. We just live with this. So I bitched about the notch with Apple, and now I'm going to have no fucking choice because every phone is like that now. And now I go to Apple because now somehow it's the least. It's
You're being fair, John.
punishable.
I appreciate that. There's a lot of YouTubers that are not fair about their critiques of Apple and Android.
You know how this is a lot of people say this, but you say this a lot, Drew. You say even people that don't want to admit it are biased in some way.
Everyone
is biased.
Everyone.
They are biased in some way, and that's okay. And you make it real positive and everything. But Drew, my friend, I'm not fucking biased. Like I think the issue here is I just don't give a fuck. Like I don't give enough fucks. There aren't enough fucks growing in the fuck field.
Unbiased.
John, I got you.
That is a point of view.
I agree with you, Drew. Drew's right. John, listen to me. You're biased.
Not caring
Why
about
don't you
opinion.
fucking take?
No, listen.
Don't you do it?
You're biased
Don't you fucking do
towards good design. You want
exactly
good, not towards brand.
Okay, that's fair. I'm not. Yeah, I'm not biased towards either. Yeah, you're right.
Like John,
okay,
10 Plus has a dual camera. You don't care about the dual camera. You're fine with a 9. That's your bias. You're like, that's something I don't need. I don't want that. So when I talk about the iPhones in my videos, I'm not going to include that as a fair point against the 9. It's just like, that's not important to me.
My argument
that's your
is
opinion.
not.
That's your bias.
My argument is that I'm not biased towards a brand. Like specifically
Sure.
for like my job. Like typically, yes, these tech YouTubers and people that talk about this stuff in this niche are biased towards something. I honestly, and I think that's one of the benefits of our show, I don't give a single fuck. I will shit in the mouth of Samsung. I will shit in the mouth of Tim Cook. I don't give a fuck. Just give me something that works. I'll pull my britches down and shit right in his fucking mouth.
I'll agree with you there. Yeah. I don't think you have, I haven't seen any company preference or brand preference you've had ever in all the content I've seen. BlackBerry. Yeah. They're the winners. Hey, there you go. That's your bias. Bring that up next time. Yeah. This is your BlackBerry sheep.
We've gotten to the point. We've got to the yelly part of the show. I
think that's a perfect time to wrap it up and move into the post show.
All right.
Okay. So we're gonna go into the post show again. This is for people that watch live. If you want more yells, you should have tuned in live. If you like the show or you learn anything, subscribe on iTunes. Go ahead and check us out on YouTube. I actually just found out how popular the audio version of this show is. I had no idea previously. Like I was almost thinking about like, is it even worth it to do audio? Audio listeners, I apologize. Nope. I didn't realize there were so many of you. I promise I'll keep I'll keep the boat afloat. But thank you for tuning in and listening. You can follow us on YouTube as well and get the video version of this podcast. Some of you probably didn't know that there is a video version. You can see Drew Psoriasis in HD. It's really great.
Oh my God!
Thank you, Drew. Drew, thanks for being on the show. Even though we're mortal enemies,
thank you for having me. Absolutely, it was very difficult, and I'm just waiting for this to be over. But thanks for having me.
I know. I promise. I promise we'll let you go soon, Brian. As always, thank you for being a friend.
Hey, man, fuck
Let's
you.
travel
Thank you.
down the road and back again.
Yeah.
Your heart is true. You're a
Mhm.
pal and a
I don't lie to
confidant.
you ass.
And if you threw a party and invited everyone you knew, the biggest
It was nice
gift
to meet you, Brian.
would be
Wait,
from
what? Are you rapping right now? What are you doing?
No, the Golden Girls theme song. Come on, man.
Oh my
Is
god.
that rap?
Now I'm
Podcast
disappointed in
over.
you. Drew, did you know it was the Golden Girls theme?
Yeah, of course.
Okay, Drew's my new best friend.
Who
Sorry,
doesn't
Brian.
know that?
Lying. He's lying. It's a lie. It's a lie. Podcast
Okay,
over.
guys. Yeah, see you next week. Bye, everybody. Goodbye. Bye.
Take care.